Second, one of the challenges I mentioned was the cost pressures and the issue of state dollars. So what can we be doing in that area? Well, certainly we'll be advocating for higher ed, we'll be advocating for the U, and we'll be advocating for CLA. That's in our conversations on campus, with legislators, with regents, as we're searching for a new president, and so on. Okay? Secondly, fundraising to get our extra level of excellence is always critical, as is building stronger grant-seeking capacity. We have to explore new revenue options. Could be professional certificates, for example, catering to the business community or to other parts of the professional world. And we have to be very mindful and intentional about what we do and how we operate. Last year, I convened an instructional budget task force chaired by Penny Edgell and Michael Kim, had representatives from the dean's administrative team, from the chairs, and from the administrators. And their job was to think through our instructional budgeting model, come up with some recommendations for places where we might be able to, in a sense, be more efficient in what we do, and to free up those resources to do other things that we think are very important as well. The chairs and the administrators both provided feedback on that over the summer, and we'll begin to implement some of those recommendations over the course of the fall and the early spring. But that's just an example of, we understand that it's a very large part of our budget, and if we can find even some small ways to do that more efficiently, it opens up opportunities to do other things that we think are important. Within departments have to be thinking about how can resources be refocused to think about the department of 5, 10, or 15 years from now, and not so much how do we reclaim the department of 5, 10, or 15 years ago. I think in the 3-year planning process, I thought that our departments are really quite good at that, and we're thinking that way, and we need to just reinforce that, and to make it worth the while to think that way as well. And that means making sure we're able to provide or move resources, typically reallocate from one thing to another area, so the department can pursue its vision of where it wants to be some years down the road. So all of those are areas that we have to focus on. As I mentioned before, our budget is balanced, but we do have to be continuing to do a better job of aligning our structural expenses with our structural revenue, so that we're more confident that we'll hit a balanced budget or even have surpluses over time. And my basic guiding principle in all this is, how do we create the most robust environment for the staff, faculty, and students who are in the college to make this a place to thrive? I will just say I'm less interested in the college per se becoming net larger in terms of, say, how many faculty do we have, or how many staff do we have. That doesn't mean there might not be targeted growth in certain places, but overall, the college is unlikely to be getting any bigger in terms of people. I want the people who are here to really be in an environment where they can get their work done at the highest possible level. And that's where the reallocation of really being thoughtful about how does a department, maybe it stops doing activity A so that it can do activity B that it cares about.